So my topic of today has to deal with Wu-Tang Clan.
They ain't nothing though.
They ain't nothing with, you know. But a while back, maybe a couple months back, I read about how they were planning to do like a traveling album. But this is nothing. It wasn't like they're making any digital copies. They're only gonna have one single album, and they're not even gonna put it up for sale. They're gonna travel it like an art exhibit. So the reasoning what I read about is that they were trying to do this to kind of change the culture of the music industry, the rap industry in general, because people were always like digitally dripping their music, stealing it and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of killing the game, so to say. So what they decided is, let's make it art. Like if you want to go see the Mona Lisa, you have to go over there actually and physically see. You have to buy a ticket to go in and see the Mona Lisa. So that's what they're kind of trying to get at. If you want to hear this album, we're not going to make any digital copies. We're not going to do anything from it. It's going to be this only one album out in the world. And you have to come to the art exhibit, the music art exhibit, to go ahead and hear this album. Yeah. For me, I think it's a crazy idea. I think it's like real cool, like in terms of like just doing something different in the way that the rap or the music industry is right now. It's kind of like Beyonce. Everybody's giving out like major promotions into their albums, you know, pumping up. But Beyonce decided to do it different. Said, fuck it. I'm just going to just release it like that. Kind of like shaking the game up, doing something different. So that's what Wu-Tang is like. Fuck it. This shit is like terrible right now. What can we do to make it different? Yeah. We're going to come out with one album and you have to pay to see it like an exhibit. We're going to go on a tour. It's kind of like a tour itself. So my question is, do you think that this is something that's going to happen, that's going to be changing the game and might lead for other people to do that in the future? Is it something viable? Obviously, we know somebody's going to go in there with a camera or a cell phone and take a video recording of it.
But I mean, people could take pictures of the Mona Lisa. It's not
exactly. It's not exactly, Ray. It's like the same. It's not the same quality, not everything. So, what do you guys feel about that?
I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of taking it back to like back in the day. Like remember when you had tapes and radio? Mm-hmm. How when you heard a song like, oh, I gotta record it. Yeah. Well, this is
and
one
of
the
DJ
only time.
Talks over it.
Yeah. This is like the one chance. Like if they have like an exhibit type thing, you have to record the actual audio and the video. That way you get to keep it and hear it again. Yeah. And you still got that kind of low quality because the tape recordings they kind of sucked. And this is gonna be. It's kind of like the novelty of it.
I like that idea.
It kind of takes it back to that. So.
That's a whole nother perspective I didn't even think about because
I didn't think about it either.
For me, I was thinking the whole point was for it to not be that way, so that they can, we're kind of shun against the people recording. Of course, they're gonna say no cameras, no cell phones, like that kind of stuff like that. But if you think about it that way, it might bring nostalgia to some people, so that might be a good thing.
And you're already paying to get in, so you're kind of paying for the show
for the
itself.
product. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That I don't like as an art exhibit. Yeah, it's cool to go to. It's cool to listen to. But I don't see it a viable choice for the future of music, because when I'm listening to music, I'm bumping into my car. I'm not going to an art exhibit to listen to music. I mean, I'd probably go to this art exhibit to listen to music, but when I'm listening, but you get
talk like adults.
But you get what I'm saying. Like I'm bumping into my car. I'm telling my friends, hey, have you heard this new song? Play it for them. I'm doing that. I'm not saying, hey, let's go for a car ride to an art exhibit. It's viable for maybe this one album, maybe another couple in the future from different artists, but I don't think it's viable for the music to go there because what's going to be playing on the radio at that point?
Yeah. Okay, let me start with this or counter with this. As a collector standpoint, how does that change? Because if you're a collector, if you're like a popular DJ, if you're just a music collector in general, to be able to say, shoot, I'm gonna purchase this one album, only album in existence, and from a group that's like Wu-Tang Clan themselves, like to have the only Wu-Tang album of this kind, that's just like something else. I think that's real cool.
Yes, I agree.
Go ahead, Frank.
So I have a few statements going off basically what each of you guys said. First off, I was going to use the Beyonce thing as an example. I think in general the medium is definitely shifting with internet purchases, and even iTunes right now is apparently doing not so good with their digital sales for whatever the reason. So even just like how the CDs switched to iTunes and now iTunes isn't doing well, things are changing constantly. So you got to do something to spark attention. So I do like how one for me.
One here, please.
Not Blue Moon, the IPA.
No, give me some of that orange wine punch though, please.
And so yeah, so Beyonce did that to spark it, and I like the idea of going to this art show type event. You get to meet other fans of the music that you like, and I do like what he said, the experience of it being grainy, because right now that's kind of the problem, is music sounds perfect, which it really doesn't. It's flawed, but because there's computers to engineer it, and you're sitting in front of the computer editing all your music to make it perfect, it changes a lot of the effect of the music. So I think that's a problem. And yeah, that's all my viewpoints on it. I do think in general it's a good idea that they're doing this. However, like you said, viableness, I don't think it will be viable. I think everyone needs their own little like gimmick, if you will, in order to sell their album. Mm-hmm. I'm sure others will try to do it, and it might work, it might not. But to just copy someone's formula, it might not work for you because of whatever. There's always more variables than that. You can't just copy someone's format and expect it to work.
I think the cool thing about it is it makes you look a little bit different. Like how Kanye did the whole, his album cover was just...
Yeah, just plain. Like, in general, I do think everyone should try to do, new things to expand the genre of music in general. So yeah. And
the last thing I wanted to point on this topic was, a lot of people say, well, how are they going to make money? How is this going to help them as a group? Well, right now they're actually doing an auction, like I said, for collectors, big time collectors, big names and people that are actually music fans of music and actually collect albums and stuff like that. As far as I looked, the last time it was like going for $7 million. That's just one album.
Wow.
I mean, but how does a new art, like if it switches to that medium of like if that's how you have to hear an album, how does a new artist break into the industry?
Yeah, but the whole thing is they have one album. Of course, the art, they can't stop what the person who's going to win the auction does.
Yeah,
so the person who wins the auction, yeah, most likely
it'll
will
probably
get copied.
Get leaked,
unless they're really a true collector, then it'll probably get leaked afterwards. So then that's when you get that, all the fans get to have it.
Based on your statement of that $7 million, I think that's cool, because basically, like, how much do people expect to sell when they actually put out a record? Mm-hmm. So this is literally adding up to the same thing as the sales that they might get. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's pretty cool. Like, from a business standpoint, they probably saw what would happen to it, and yeah, I mean that's real cool. It's a different way of releasing it. They still get the same type of funding back.
They don't have to pay for the mass production. They don't have to pay for the distribution.
Yeah, that's swag.
That's true.
That's swag.
Wow.
In a lot of ways, it's very like.
Although they're not making money off of the people burning it or whatnot, but they're still making
just
that
the one sale. Yeah.
But so
it's all profit.
For an established artist, it makes sense.
Yeah.
New artists can't do it. If every artist does it this way, it won't work. As an art form, which music is an art. Like as an art form, they're displaying it a different way. They're instead of looking at it from the right side, you're looking at it from the left side. Like it's changing it up. I think it's a great idea. I would go to it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are Wu-Tang Clan fans would go to it. But like I said, it's not a viable option for the future of music.